the heart of a forgotten town stood the grand majestic theatre, a relic of a bygone era. Once the pride of the community, it had been abandoned for decades, its grand facade crumbling and its velvet seats coated in a thick layer of dust. The theatre had seen better days, but locals avoided it, whispering tales of strange noises and eerie lights emanating from within. Emma, a young historian with a passion for uncovering lost stories, had heard the rumors and felt an irresistible pull to the theatre. She had always been fascinated by the paranormal, but more than that, she was drawn to the tragic tale of a pianist who had once performed there, a tale that had been lost to time, overshadowed by the theatre's eventual decline. With her curiosity piqued, Emma arranged to visit the theatre, gaining access through the local historical society. Armed with a flashlight, a notebook and a recorder, she stepped through the decaying entrance into the vast, silent auditorium. The air was thick with dust and the scent of old wood, and the silence was almost oppressive. The first thing that caught Emma's eye was the grand piano on the stage. It was covered in a thick layer of dust, the keys yellowed with age. Despite its dilapidated state, there was something captivating about it, as if it were the heart of the theatre, waiting to be played once more. Emma approached the stage cautiously, her footsteps echoing in the emptiness. As she reached the piano, she felt a sudden chill in the air, as though the temperature had dropped several degrees. Her breath fogged in front of her, and she shivered despite the warm autumn day outside. She hesitated for a moment before lifting the piano's lid, exposing the keys. As her fingers brushed lightly over them, the piano suddenly came to life, playing a hauntingly beautiful melody on its own. The sound was clear and perfect, as though the piano were brand new, not the decaying relic it appeared to be. Emma gasped, stumbling back in shock, but the music continued, filling the theatre with a mournful tune. It was a love song, achingly beautiful yet tinged with sorrow, and it seemed to speak directly to her soul. She couldn't move, couldn't tear her eyes away from the piano as it played, seemingly of its own volition. As the melody played on, images began to flash through Emma's mind, visions of a time long past. She saw the theatre in its heyday, filled with an audience entranced by the music. On the stage, a handsome young man sat at the piano, his fingers dancing over the keys. His eyes were filled with love as he played, not for the audience, but for a woman standing in the wings, her face illuminated by the soft glow of the stage lights. The vision shifted, and Emma saw the woman again, this time in a small dressing room backstage. She was weeping, clutching a letter in her hands. The man, the pianist, stood at the door, his expression devastated. The music from the piano grew more frantic, more desperate, as if echoing the heartbreak in the room. The final vision was the most chilling. Emma saw the woman standing on the stage, alone in the empty theatre. The piano played a sorrowful tune, the same one that had drawn Emma to this place. The woman's face was streaked with tears, and in her hand she held a vial of poison. She lifted it to her lips, and as the last notes of the melody faded, she collapsed to the floor, her life slipping away as the final note hung in the air. The vision ended abruptly, leaving Emma breathless and shaken. The piano had fallen silent, the last echoes of the tragic love song fading into the cold, still air. Emma stood there, her heart pounding, as the pieces of the story began to fall into place. The pianist and the woman had been lovers, their romance doomed by circumstances Emma could only guess at. The woman, driven to despair, had ended her life on the very stage where her lover had once played for her. The pianist, unable to bear the grief, had continued to play the song they had shared night after night until his own death. Their spirits, bound to the theatre by their tragic love, had never found peace. Emma knew what she had to do. She returned to the theatre the next day, bringing with her a bouquet of white lilies, the flowers of remembrance. She placed them gently on the piano, and as she did, she felt a presence beside her. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but she knew it was the pianist, watching her. With trembling hands, Emma sat at the piano and began to play the melody. The keys responded to her touch, and for the first time she heard the music in its entirety. As she played, she felt a warmth spread through the theatre, as though the spirits of the two lovers were finally at peace. When the last note faded, the theatre was silent once more, but the air was no longer cold. The oppressive atmosphere had lifted, replaced by a sense of calm and closure. Emma knew that the spirits had moved on, their tragic love story finally laid to rest. The Grand Majestic Theatre would remain a relic of the past, but the haunted piano would play no more. The love story that had once filled its halls was no longer a tale of tragedy, but a testament to the enduring power of love, even beyond death.